is already starting to reverse and go down. Now, the positive for housing is that there's not a lot of supply. Get tightened by Fed rate hikes, when you're seeing runoff on the balance sheet. Now they just announced $95 billion runoff. All of that is going to cause tightening within money flow into crypto as well as tech stocks and then markets in general. So you have to think that Bitcoin's going to take a hit. That's part of my thesis for why we're going to go lower. Now, you know that I've said that I don't believe the Fed will hike as much as they say they're going to, because the economy's already starting to suffer. I mean, we have this nice reopening right now in the U.S. where lots of people want to travel and get out, but when you talk about, they just took away QE, right? Now they're raising rates. Now they're cutting back on their balance sheet. These are all tightening measures. So it's not that they're just tightening 25 or 50 basis points. They're really tightening more than that because they're removing excess money from the system, right? And that's going to be hurtful to the economy. I think by, again, probably the fourth quarter of 2022, you'll hear people starting talking recession. And in fact, I think Morgan Stanley might have just recently come out and said something about maybe a recession is on the horizon. But I've been saying that, and it's going to happen. I mean, there's no way you can take the drugs away from the market that it's been addicted to for now since 2009 and it not have a major impact on the economy. Is already starting to reverse and go down. Now, the positive for housing is that there's not a lot of supply out there, but at this point, I think I just read that since December, a $400,000 mortgage now is $400 more a month than just what it was in December. So I mean, that's just based on what interest rates have done since then, with the 30-year going into the mid fives, close to 6%. So again, you know, real estate's going lower, stocks are going to go lower, and crypto's going to go lower. It absolutely will. I mean, think about what people are spending on inflated food and energy. Then you talk about home payments or rent that's gone skyrocketing. I mean, there's so much less money now. I mean, luckily people are getting raises in terms of salaries. That's offsetting it a little bit. But I want to say this is that, you know, and I'm going to look right at the camera to say this too, because it bugs the heck out of me, is that you had all these analysts since 2009 saying don't fight the Fed, right? I mean, how many times did we hear that for like 10 plus years, 12 years? And now the Fed is reversing, and they're telling you that they're reversing, and now people are like, oh, well, you still got to buy the market. Well, what happened to don't fight the Fed when we were going up? Now all of a sudden they're taking it back, and now you do fight the Fed? I mean, investors need to be smart about this because there's a lot of money on the line. We are still so elevated from where we were pre-COVID, and the money is getting sucked out of the system very, very quickly. Absolutely, so elevated. Again, and again, I wish I had my charts with me, but if you connect the highs from like 2013 through 2019 or so, you have this upsloping trend, and then COVID comes when all the stimulus came in, and it's like, it just shoots up to the moon. And we haven't reversed that at all yet. And you have to reverse that. Even think about this. We're even going to get interest rates higher than where we were pre-COVID if we aren't already there. So it almost makes sense that it would even go lower. But yeah, I mean, we're going to go a lot lower in the stock market. I am short energy stocks right now, Exxon, Chevron. Yeah. I have shorts on, I did cover, all right, so in all full and fair disclosure, I had shorts, I was long UVXY, which is volatility. I sold into this latest drop we've seen in the stock market, so that's kind of being like short. And then I also took profits on Tesla short recently that we had just entered. But I'm still short by owning QID, which is an ETF that's 2 times short the Qs, and I'll continue to hold that because I do think we're going to power to her. She has done amazing in building the everything she has. I'm more of a shorter term trader. I think in this day and age, investors want that. So I think that, you know, again, I'm in not a position to give her advice, but I think that, you know, you have to, first of all, I think she's over allocated in some positions. It puts a lot of risk when such huge positions are in the ETFs that she has. But I'm going to shut up now. I'm not going to get into 100% portfolio. I have probably about, I would say about 40% short right now. Okay. All right. I have about 20% long, and the longs are spattered amongst, you know, various plays that I think have quality to them. They're more defensive names at this point. And then I also have a fair amount of cash sitting on the sidelines. So again, that's really how I'm in right now. Now I do have a couple shorts on crypto. They're small, but I do have a short on Ethereum and Bitcoin that are in the money right now. I mean, is that assuming no inflation? I'm not sure where this is coming from. Yeah. I don't see that as at all. Number one, you didn't see a $300 rise in gold, at least from where we currently are, with the invasion, even pre-invasion when it looked like it might be happening. So I think that, again, the longer inflation stays around, that's going to be the driving force. I know we've talked about the 1970s and comparing the inflation and the price of gold and what it did, and it literally, the charts are identical to 73 to 75, 75 to 77, which is where we currently are, and then gold went from like, I don't know, it went to $900 an ounce from like $150 or something back then.
Yeah.
I don't think gold's going to do that type of X move, but I do think it's got 5,000 in a few years written all over it. Absolutely. I'm going to go with gold hitting 5,000 first, because I still think there's spec money in Bitcoin and it has to get more adoption. I think that you still have a lot of big money out there that is not comfortable owning Bitcoin yet. Now, over the next few years, I do think that starts to shift, and it's already starting to shift. And eventually, Bitcoin, I mean, think about the X times, right? I mean, you go to 5,000 on gold, it's only a little over, you know, what is it, 1.5, 150% from here.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, 500,000 is a lot more than 150%.
Yes.
So I do think you will see eventually Bitcoin way outperform gold, but in the near term, I do think gold is the place to be. In fact, I remember our December interview where I said to you, gold would be the best performer in 2022 over Bitcoin as well as the stock market. I think so far I'm correct as of now.
Sure.
And I'm looking to buy it back around 1850.
Sure.
But I still hold my physical gold. That's not going anywhere, because
Sure.
I look at it as like an insurance policy. You know,
Okay.
if things get crazy in the world and the banks are shut down or anything like that, you know what? I'll go buy a loaf of bread and chip off a little piece of gold. Non-biased information that I give out, the technical information where it's kind of avoiding the hype. And listen, as much as I'd like to see Bitcoin at 500,000 tomorrow, I just look at the chart and let it tell me what it's going to do. And I think that's important. You know, there's so much hopium out there, and it got a lot of people to buy at 65 plus thousand.
Yeah.
And those people are underwater quite a bit.
Right.
And again, that's a lot of this moon boy kind of nonsense
Right.
out there. And I really stress to people, think logically, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not the last opportunity you're going to get to invest in anything. So think logically. Don't be a follower. Be someone who steps up at certain levels that make sense. I mean, anything is possible. I mean, if it became the reserve currency of the world and transactions were done in Bitcoin, then I suppose it could.
Yeah.
For me, it serves me, you know, it's one of those things where I don't want to say it, and I don't want people to kind of think about that, because we need to be focused on now and where price is going to be. Like you say $10 million or whatever, then people are going to go out and buy right now, right? And it doesn't, like, let's play in the near term and set yourself up for the long term. But again, if that sort of thing happened, yeah, it's possible.